Hello all Fisi fans and welcome back to my little career mode series on F1 2012. We are at the third race of the season in China, the Shanghai International Circuit, and we're gonna jump straight into Q2. And if you remember back to Malaysia, I had a problem in Q2 with the AI driver sitting on the racing line, blocking my lap, and it's happened again, guys. Vettel just sitting on the racing line into turn 1, and now Mark Webber sitting on the racing line into turn 2, costing me quite a bit of time and kind of putting me off, because as you can see I go on the curb, put a bit too much throttle on, and sliding now into the wall. The front wing falls off the car as if it's made of Pirelli rubber, and that's qualifying over, unfortunately, as I didn't have enough time left in the session to get that damage fixed and go back out. So another disappointing qualifying, like in Malaysia, out in Q2, and I'm gonna start the race from P15 on the grid. Not quite ideal, but hopefully we can make quite an interesting race out of that. So, jumping out onto the race, we got Kimi Räikkönen actually on pole position. I like to see that, Kimi fan as I am, and me back in 15th, 3 places behind my teammate Adrian Sutil actually, so gotta be aiming to get past him as soon as possible. Can't have Sutil thinking he's the #1 driver in the team. But anyway, the lights are now out and away we go for the start of this third race of the season. I got a decent run on Hulkenberg, alright start really. Used a little bit of chaos and go around the outside of a couple of cars there. John-Eric Byrne has run wide onto the grass, which has slowed him down. Hamilton's actually on the grass as well, and he's going slow on the outside. I'm trying to just find a gap through the middle somewhere. Hulkenberg's found a decent line, he's back through, but I've got a better exit than him, and my teammates is there as well behind Grosjean and Vettel, and oh my god, the AIs, everyone just braking in the middle of the straight for some reason, don't ask me why. And the McLaren's now going together into that corner. I managed to dispose of one of them now. Perez around the outside of turn 4, I believe that was. It's been another cracking start for me. Taking advantage of the AI at its weakest point at the start of the race, and we've actually made up 8 places already, going up to P7 after only a few corners, and that is crucial as well if I want to keep up with my championship rivals in the standings. I believe as after Malaysia it was like 5 people separated by only 1 point, but then I've had a bit of an attempt to pass Jenson Button there, but wasn't quite aggressive enough really. Button just smacked the door shut on me. And I'm gonna have to probably have another attempt down this massive straight. I believe this is the longest straight on the F1 calendar. Button's actually having a go instead on Mark Webber ahead. The guy, one of the guys who kind of screwed my qualifying lap. Oh, but I'm gonna go at both of them. But I've gone wide. Button's managed to recover the place, but actually Mark Webber there lost 2 places, both to me and Jenson Button. So I'm up to P6 then as we finish the first lap of this race. Button now having a go. He's looking feisty today, having a go at the Ferrari. I think he's actually passed him. And ooh, Massa's gone very slow into turn 1. I've just gone straight around the outside, and Button's going slow as well. Maybe I'm gonna have him on the inside as well. He's kind of giving me room there, and now I've got the position covered, I think. But Button's kind of holding on, looking by the arrows there, but he's had to yield. I'm up to P4, so that was a good couple of corners for me. And a purple first sector as well on lap 2, as you'd expect. Can also point out that, like in the first 2 races, I'm using the default setup, so no setup advantage for me relative to the AI in this race, as we now actually skip to the 3rd lap of the race. So I'm still in P4, a tiny bit of a gap down to Jenson Button, but he's kind of holding on as a massive train back there. And I might have a run on Fernando Alonso if I hadn't had a horrible exit out of them at long right-hander. Got the RS though, that is the crucial part in order to keep up. The leader's not too far ahead, as you can see, going into the hairpin now. It is the Mercedes of Rosberg leading the race actually. Rosberg, who won the real F1 race around there in 2011 I believe it was, and I'm currently on course to win this race as well. And the top 3 are now very close together as we cross the line to start the 4th lap of this race. I've actually set a fastest lap there, so that's nice. I'm kind of keeping up then. Ooh, but Fernando Alonso and Kimi Räikkönen's gone very, very slow. And I've broken my end plate by hitting the rear of Kimi Räikkönen. Please don't give me a penalty. I am begging you, Codemasters, as I actually managed to go around the outside of Fernando Alonso. I guess this was worth it then. Alonso, who won both of the 2 first races, so it's nice to see him dropping back a bit. So that was a bit of a scare then, but we managed to get away with it and gain the position. So up to P3. As we know, skip to the end of lap 4, and Kimi Räikkönen's had a massive run on Rosberg, who's going very, very slowly. Indeed, that is amazingly how slow that was. DRS is pretty overpowered, it would look like. And now he's actually been passed by both Kimi Räikkönen and myself, which means that I've gone up to P2. Rosberg, we're looking so good, but no, not anymore. We started at lap 5 now. Rosberg's dropped 1.5 seconds behind. The Mercedes might be struggling with his tires as usual, but I'm now just trying to hang on to the back of Kimi Räikkönen, putting it down to standard. Want to save a little bit of fuel, but can't save too much, I guess, because that Lotus is quick, we all know that. And you would think that I need to do pretty well to keep up with him, as sparks are flying out of Räikkönen's car as it was bouncing on the curve there. But we're gonna skip a little bit forward again. I got DRS and closing the gap now to Kimi Räikkönen, going towards the hairpin at the end of lap 5. I'm hearing my engineer tell me that the car behind him, which is now Jenson Button's, got some minor damage to his front wing, like I have, and Kimi Räikkönen, the race leader, has gone into the pit lane. As you can see back there, tiny dots streaming into the pit lane. Lots of cars deciding to pit, but I'm gonna stay out for another lap now. Coming into the pit from the lead. Let's see if we can make this work and actually jump Kimi Räikkönen. That would be incredible if we could. Just making sure my pit crew knows that the prime tire is the one that I want to be put on the car. Lots of pit crews out as well, so we'll see lots of AI streaming into pits on this lap as well. Pit crew going to work, Force India pit crew. Change my front wing as well due to the minor contact, and that will certainly make it hard for me to jump Räikkönen. I forgot about that. So let's see where. Oh, where's the tiny dot coming there? Is Kimi Räikkönen? Is it? Ooh! Oh, it's oh my god! Räikkönen's had a half spin. Oh, what is that? I got a penalty. Oh my god! Can someone please tell me what that penalty was for? I literally have no idea. I was just following my racing line. Kimi Räikkönen decided to take the same line there, despite clearly seeing that I was coming out the pit lane, and just decided to have a spin on my anus. And that has now certainly thrown away any chance that I have had of winning this race. As after the drive-through now, oh my god, Lewis Hamilton almost done exactly the same thing as Räikkönen did in the previous lap. That was a scary moment again. But we dropped back to P8 due to that drive-through, and we now have a lot of work to do if we want to get back onto that podium. But skip now onto the end of lap 10, and with DRS on the main straight, closing down the train, which Grosjean is at the back of. So Grosjean is the first man that we want to get past and gain some points. But he's looking pretty quick through the final sector. But DRS once again enabled. Purple lap again, so I've done well in the time I tried to close the gap to the train ahead. I've set a purple lap, so I'm fast at him. Oh, I've gone wide, but so has Grosjean. So I might have a look. Oh my god, there's lots of the whole train just slowed down with Vettel and Button and Perez just fighting everywhere and wheel banging, and it's all just going down. I don't really have any places to go. But Vettel slowed down on the straight. I managed to go up the inside of him, and both the McLarens are slow because there wasn't a backmarker sitting there on the racing line actually. And I've tapped the backup button, but no harm done there. Perez tries to get the position back in. Oh, we side by side going around this long corner, but Perez kind of got a bit sideways, I think, and I managed to make the move stick. So that was interesting again. I think there was a Toro Rosso there actually, going slow through turns 1 and 2, causing the whole train in front of me to slow down, and that's gained me 3 positions in the end. And now I'm looking to take 4th place from Jenson Button with DRS on the main straight, but not really closing quite enough. Or am I? Ooh, kind of thinking about having to go up the inside, but kind of backed out of it. And Jenson Button's managed to keep that position. And as you can see in front of Jenson Button, there's quite a gap now up to the podium positions, with Alonso as well setting the fastest lap ahead. So that's looking pretty difficult to get up there, but I'd certainly want to get Jenson Button's 4th place, and I'm doing my best to kind of push him out of the way. But Button's doing well, much better than the previous lap anyway, to hold his ground through turn 2. And I might have a go though. Will I use a little bit of chaos? No need to rush, I guess. But am I gonna have a look up the inside into turn 4? I've gone for it. Jenson Button's had to yield. He's yielded. and I managed to go up past him to P4 with only 1.5 laps remaining in this race. And now skipping to the end of lap 14, the last lap of the race, and surely I've got 4th place in the bag with a nice gap down to Jensen Button. Oh, is that a back marker there? Bianchi! Oh my god. Oh, I was going to go to the right of him there, and he forced me to go to the left. That was not a scary moment. I've run out of scary moments in this race. We had too many, I think, for my health to take anyway. And that's Webber not too far ahead. Bianchi might have actually held him up as Felipe Massa, the number 2 Ferrari driver, wins the Chinese Grand Prix in front of his teammate Fernando Alonso, but I managed to come home in P4. Could have been so much better if it wasn't for that. It's a really stupid penalty, but not too bad by Force India standards anyway. So it was a surprise victory for Felipe Massa in Shanghai, with Fernando Alonso keeping up his good form, and the pole sitter Kimi Räikkönen actually dropping all the way down to P9 after the rape fest at the pit exit. So looking at the championship then, and Fernando Alonso actually extending his lead with that 2nd place, but below him it's incredibly close from 2nd place all the way down to 8th, with me sitting nicely in P3 there, so I'm still keeping up pretty well. And in the Constructors' Championship, Force India still sitting in P5 then, after Adrian Sutil failed to score any points to help out the team. In the garage now, and wow, that guy is incredibly creepy, not gonna lie, but they seem reasonably happy with my 4th place. So let's move on to Bahrain. So, race 4, and we're in the deserts of Bahrain. Q2 once again on my final qualifying lap of the session, as the time has now run out. And as you can see in the top left there, I'm 0.5 of a second up on the time I need to get into Q3. So at this point of the lap, I am pretty confident. I mean, how can I lose 0.5 from only 2 corners at the end of the lap? That is surely not doable. So was we just calmly gonna cross the finish line, and no! P14! How on earth? That is a shocker. I did not expect that from this track, which I quite enjoy. And I literally have no idea how I managed to lose 0.5 of a second and more on only 2 corners. But anyway, get that out of my system now. It's gonna be another struggle of a race. Just look at all the cars I need to get past to get to the front. Waiting for the lights now. 4, 5, and away we go! Got a reasonable start, trying to get past the Toro Rossos quickly. As we know, just waiting for turn 1 to come around. Look at all the cars streaming into there. It's going to be a collision surely somewhere. My teammate Adrian Sutil straight in the middle of it, and I believe he's gained a couple of positions, with Webber and Button and Perez not having the grace this first corner there. I've got a bit of chaos used and a toe of Jensen Button, and it's pretty much 3 abreast with Grosjean on my inside now, and I managed to brake later than them. Button holding on nicely on the inside with a few cars slowing down. Felipe Massa might have him as well. No room there on the curve there. Ooh, Massa slowing down insanely, and I'm once again, like in the previous race, broken my end plates at the start of the race. Ooh, but now we're gonna have a cheeky look. A cheeky duck down the inside of Felipe Massa, who's gone up the curb and lost out completely. And it's a great start for both Force India cars there, with Adrian Sutil, my teammate, up to P6, and I am up to P7 already with half a lap gone. So now we skip to the start of lap 2, coming down the main stage straight towards turn 1. I've got a nice run on my teammate here. Maybe I'll brake a bit later, duck down the inside. Oh, don't want to hit my teammate off. Ooh. I don't think good old VJ Malia would have liked that. But I'm using a little bit of chaos on the exit of turn 2, and I've got a nice run again on my teammate. And this time, I think I've got the move covered as I'm on the inside into turn 3. I got it a little bit wide though, but got a good exit, and the move is done. Again, reinstating my number 1 driver status in the team. Not that my teammate has proven particularly hard to beat so far this season anyway. So we got 3 cars ahead of us, 3 quick cars, so it's a bit interesting to see if my Force India is at all quick enough to keep up. And as we skip to the end of lap 3, it evidently isn't. There's quite a bit of a gap now, and I've lost curves, so that's certainly not helped. And Felipe Massa now has an incredible run in my slipstream, and with curves broken I can't really do anything at all to defend that. Massa's just streaming by going down towards turn 1, and I've dropped to P7. I got a little bit of damage on my wing, remember, but I would have hoped that I could have been quick enough to keep up with the front pack, but I think I was just struggling with the car around there, understeer, and just like in qualifying, the pace just wasn't there, and I couldn't really understand where I was losing time. I am of course using the standard default setup, and no assists as always, but just haven't got the pace really around here to keep up with the front runners. So skipping out onto the end of lap 6, and I put it now to Rich because Mass has pulled out a gap, and I've had to defend from Rosberg. That's not Rosberg, that's Grosjean in the Lotus, who's just gone flying by once again. Curse is still broken, so I'm just a sitting duck at the moment, losing time everywhere, and Grosjean's got that position off me. A few cars have streamed into the pit lane actually, so I'm up to P4 for the moment, and I'm gonna have a look at Grosjean to get my position back. I'm not having Roman Grosjean taking my places, even though I quite like him as a driver, but back up to P3 for the moment, skipping out to the end of lap 7, and Curse is finally back. Lost lots of time during the time I didn't have that, and now I'm gonna go into the pit lane with the Grosjean actually following me there, and the Ferrari in as well. So let's see if the pit crew can pull out a good stop, but just like in the previous race, they have to use several seconds to change my front wing, despite it only being slightly damaged, and that has led to Roman Grosjean jumping me in the pit lane. So I've come out the pit lane in P9, and those lovely orange prime tires, that looks beautiful on the Force India. I will have some lack of grip on these cold tires now, but let's see if I can manage to keep up with the Roman Grosjean. Oh my god!
That was a big impact. Let me know you're okay.
You have just witnessed an absolute disaster. My Force India has been shattered to pieces, and I've surely been sent to the hospital with broken legs, ribs and eyeballs and whatnot, which means that I'm going to get no points from this race, unfortunately. Sebastian Vettel won the race ahead of Fernando Alonso, another good result for him. Raikkonen in 3rd, and my teammate actually recovered 1 point for the team there by finishing P10. As for the championship, that means that Alonso still has a good gap of 39 points down to Kimi Raikkonen in 2nd. Mark Webber, Felipe Massa and Sebastian Vettel all passed me, putting me down to P6. But he's still incredibly close there, you gotta say, so I'm still in the hunt at least for 2nd place. And Force India has dropped 1 place down to P6 as well in the Constructors' Championship. But despite my poor result in this final race, I really hope you enjoyed the video, so feel free to like it and everything, and I will see you guys next time for Spain and oh there, Monaco. But until then, get out of my face!